So people ask me like serious medical questions. Like some guy sent in an X-ray of his hip, and you can see his in the X-ray. Yeah, and all the boys were like, "You look like a cancer patient."
Strength doesn't matter, Charles. It's all technique.
Well, let's roll. Let's roll.
What's the best stack for jiu-jitsu?
Test, growth hormone, there's going to be some Anavar in there, and then I believe there's going to be some Winstrol.
Welcome to the Partizan Podcast. I'm Ben, this is George. Today we're talking to Charles Allan Price.
Nice.
Assalamu alaikum.
Good to see you, Judge.
Right, this is take two, so let's
This is not take two, this is the first time we've shot this podcast. I've never met this man in my life. Charles is your favorite grappling strength and conditioning coach. He's worked with Theon Davies,
Yeah.
Hodger Gracie, Owen Flanagan, Owen Jones, Taylor Pearman,
Charles Negromonte.
Charles Negromonte. Shout out, Charles.
We love Charles Negromonte.
We love Charles.
Yeah. Shay Montelou. I still can't even say his name. Shay Montelou.
Shay. Oh, he's an interesting guy.
I love Shay. He's fucking hilarious, man.
He's cool.
Yeah.
So, Charles, tell us about your week.
Week's been good. Been doing a lot of jits, lifting weights. It's just great to be back in Australia, enjoying the sun. It is just such a nice place to fucking live, honestly. Been training with Lucas.
Sydney Wrestling Academy.
Got the shit kicked out of me by Lucas and Jeremy Skinner. Trained at Grappling Education.
Shout out Grappling Education.
That was sick.
Did you use the pit at all? Like any jumping techniques, flying triangles?
No, I just pull guard, mate. I just pull guard and go for the bear trap. I've had spine surgery. I'm old.
We'll get into that, spinal surgery.
Yeah. So I don't really wrestle too much anymore. I just want to pull guard and get a bear trap and get a sweep.
Enough.
That's all I'm going for.
And we've got it under secret authority that you've been leg locked by Jude Keane several times.
Mate,
tell us about rolling with Jude.
Jude is I think this kid's going to be a big deal. He's like I was saying before when we recorded earlier. There's a certain feel that all of these high level guys have to them. I think whether it's I've trained with a bunch of guys who are very, very high level, and there's a feel and the way they move and a strength level to them. And this fella Jude, I feel like he's just got it. He's got it down packed. The way he passes, the way he's moving, the way he cuts angles and stuff. He's got a good sense of and balance to him. So I think this kid Jude will be. What weight is Jude? Probably 88.
He's probably around 88 now. You could probably cut to 77, but I think he's probably at 88.
Yeah, he's gonna tear up soon, and he's only 21 years old. So I think if this kid just focuses on what he needs to do and just keep getting better at training and commits to the training, he'll be good. And it's amazing to see that more and more people are getting taking jiu-jitsu a little bit more seriously. It's becoming more popular in Australia. It's really cool to see.
You've trained with many high-level athletes. What advice would you have for someone like Jude? You can see that he's very talented. He's yet to have his breakout moment. What advice would you give to someone that's 21 years old that wants to make grappling and jiu-jitsu their professional career?
You got to get on the socials, like we were chatting about before. The thing, if you want to, like we said earlier, like Australia's an expensive country to buy property in a place that where you actually want to live, and to be able to eat like good food and train all the time and live a lifestyle that's you don't need to worry about paying your bills and stuff. You're not going to get that with minimum wage, and if you're doing minimum wage jobs because you don't have skills in other areas, it's a fucking grind, and you're just going to be like, we're talking to Seb. Seb was like, I need to take my social seriously because I don't want to fucking do the job that I'm doing now, and because I hate that. But if I can get paid more on socials and from online online revenue, and people go, oh, it's passive income. It's not passive income. You still got to fucking work for it, whether it's instructionals or like it's a full-time thing. But it gives you way more freedom because you can do it from anywhere. That's the main thing. Like if you want to live whether you live in an expensive city or not, to be able to fund your lifestyle through your phone and through being, creative and making online content and reels or whatever, it's an amazing thing. And I think if you just put some effort and time into it and you create the systems, I guess that's what you're helping people create the systems to do so. It's an absolute game changer, especially for a jiu-jitsu athlete. Also the fact that if you have a bigger following, you can demand more money on these on whatever shows that you're going to do. More people are going to be interested in fighting you, and you can kind of call the shots. Let's say if you're a jiu-jitsu athlete and you've got 50k followers and you're actually really fucking good at your craft, you can demand more money on shows, and also you can start calling people out. And people want to fight you because you have a bigger following, and they'll get that, like, even they'll get seen by your audience as well. So you can demand. It's a high demand call, really.
Because if you submit the guy with 100,000 followers and you have a very exciting match, how many of their followers go, I mean, this guy's fucking good.
They're going to be like, what the fuck is going on? Who did he fight? Like, yeah, exactly. Look at Mikey Musumeci. What's he got, like 600,000 followers?
Heaps, man.
He's got heaps, man. Everyone knows Mikey Musumeci. Obviously, he's very good, but he's got a huge fucking following. Not everyone has to get to like hundreds of thousands of followers. Like, if you've got 25, if you got over 10k followers, you can monetize that, and you could be making decent money. You could be making way better than the minimum wage income, and funding your lifestyle through your phone. For sure.
The interesting lesson with Mikey, right? His personality is not necessarily, an outgoing guy that probably loves being on camera.
Yeah.
And yet he's got 600,000 followers.
Yeah.
Which is why.
Because he's a great competitor. So say if you're winning matches, you're a good jiu-jitsu competitor. Like, look how many jiu-jitsu competitors have like lots of followers and they're not even that good. And like, I know guys who have like, 30, 40,000 followers, and they're not exceptional competitors, but they're just showing techniques online. They create a call to action and like some kind of sales funnel, and they're making money. They're funding a lifestyle, and they're not even competitors. Yeah. And you look at some of the guys who are top level competitors, and they beat the shit out of anyone, any kind of training room, and they're just not capitalizing on making money off it.
Yeah.
And you can just completely fund your lifestyle.
100%.
Some of these guys could be making 10, 20 grand a month easily.
Wow. Is that what you see with professional athletes essentially?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. So, some of my guys keep telling me, do your fucking techniques. Just show
Three a week.
Just show 3 techniques a week, and it's like it credits an OnlyFans subscription or some kind of Patreon or whatever, and people will buy it. Because I'll tell you offline about this BJJ Fanatics thing. But yeah, like you can't just rely on BJJ Fanatics, because there's so much streaming behind it. They've got full control.
They set the price, right?
Exactly. We'll talk about more details.
We love Bernardo Faria.
Yeah,
we love BJJ Fanatics.
Michael Zenya. But
there are other options, right?
There's other options, and there's way, because that used to be the gold standard. I'll do Fanatics and I'll make money from that. That works if you're the top guy and if you're tied to the top funnel, but you can make way more money doing your own thing, doing Patreon, doing Instagram subscription or whatever it is, or like even just creating some kind of like
you sell your own instructional.
Sell your own instructional. Do you know what I mean? You can there's money to be made there, and they'll help you fund your lifestyle, which will be more enjoyable for you, because then you'll be able to do what you want to do.
Let's talk about your podcast. You have accidentally created one of the best podcasts in jiu-jitsu, I think, if I can say.
I appreciate it.
I like it. I love it.
People seem to love it, honestly.
I love it.
It's weird, because we have this weird little niche sport, and I can go anywhere, and people will come up to me in the street, honestly, like not like I feel like some like D-list celebrity. People come up to me like, man, Charles, I love the podcast. Like when I was in America, and I'd be talking about, I want to move to Miami, I want to move to Florida. People go, what? The first thing they would say is, what's going to happen to the podcast?
Wow.
What's going to happen to the podcast?
That's the number one priority for
yeah, look, shout out Bulletproof for BJJ. I'm going to do their podcast. Joey and JT going to do the podcast this week. So one of my clients, he was like, have you heard of Bulletproof for BJJ? This was years ago. And I was like, yeah, Joey and JT. And he's like, I listened to their podcast. I heard their podcast. Someone recommended it through a mate. And my client, he knew that like I was training some BJJ guys at the time. And this is before I had actually started taking my content geared towards jiu-jitsu guys. He goes, you should start a podcast. And I was like, yeah, you reckon? And he's like, yeah, you're training Owen. He just won trials with all submissions. And it's like, you guys definitely should start a podcast, especially before he goes to ADCC. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And we just was like, okay, I have a camera lying around. We could get some like lapel microphones, and this is it. We just sit down, and we literally just sat down in like one of my clients' offices upstairs, and looked like. So it's so funny. The YouTube comments were like, "This looks like a single man's like living room."
What a coincidence!
Yeah, here we are now.
Here we are
on the casting
couch. Shout out casting couch.
Shout out casting couch.
What a shout out!
Love that show. Yeah, so we literally just put no effort into it. We just I put a question box up. And then people put in questions, and there we were just off and running. And again, I think the low budget forum works well. Like my ex-missus, she was like, "You need to do lighting, you need to do that, get all that." I was like, "I'm not going to do any of that because we're not going to be consistent with it." And it's just like people just want to hear us talk shit. Like we just sit down and we just talk shit. We literally have no agenda. Like we train 2:30 every Thursday. And then after we just do a podcast. We put a question box up. Sometimes I won't forget. Sometimes I forget. We literally get like 9 or 10 pages of questions, and we just sit there and just go.
It's just full off the cuff.
Full off the cuff. Zero planning whatsoever. And yeah, we just fucking bang it out, dude. Sometimes that podcast gets like 20,000 listens a month.
That's awesome.
So
you just crossed 100 episodes, right?
We just crossed 100 episodes. We just had a bottle of Dom Perignon to celebrate. I spilled a full cup of it on the floor.
Oh no!
As we're doing it. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, Owen's fucking hilarious. It just works. Christian always tries to get involved.
Christian Osbeck.
Love that guy. No, it's fun. 100 episodes. Just the more you can like look, we got a fucking DJI thing here. You got a microphone.
Yeah.
Just got to do it.
Yeah.
And you can just get interesting guests on. But you don't even, like. I think it goes to show we don't even have like people like, oh, who's going to get on? Like at the start, I was really pushing it. We had Theon on, we had the fight dietitian on, I was really pushing to get some like interesting people on, and I was like, I don't want to keep like doing this. Like, I don't want to do Zoom podcasts and like all that kind of shit. Like, I just want to sit down and just talk shit
with my mate. Yeah.
Talk shit with my mate, and that's just what it's turned out to be. And people seem to love it.
Have you created a monster in terms of the questions that you actually get now? Because I would imagine you get some crazy questions as well.
We just get retarded questions. people always ask me for
What's your least favorite question? Can you answer it on the podcast?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing every time. How many times should I lift weights for jiu-jitsu? Or I'll be like, I'm doing jiu-jitsu this many times a week. How many times? It's like, do you not listen to any other fucking podcast? Like we literally say this every fucking episode.
Yeah.
Like if you're an avid listener, you know that I'm fucking there. And now I think it's a troll. People just fucking go. But so people ask me like serious medical questions. Like some guy sent in an X-ray of his hip, and you can see his.
Was his hip broken though?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I've just got this. Like, what do you think of this? I'm like, I'm not a fucking medical professional. Like, but also, like, what state are you in to be asking like two fellas on a podcast like a serious injury thing? Like, to be honest, like most if you have an injury, it's pretty fucking simple. Like, if you've got a good lifting practice, your nutrition is pretty good, your sleep is pretty good. You'll be okay. Like if you got seriously, like if you go get some physiotherapy, you'll sort it out. Like all lifting weights is understanding load management. So like if you come in, you're fucking exhausted, just train as best as you can for that day and just manage the load effectively. Don't try and fucking kill yourself because you'll be absolutely fucked. You probably will get injured. And then on the days that you do feel really good, that's when you can lift a little bit heavier and you can just actually fucking like send it in the gym. So like if you are injured. Let's say you've got elbow tendonitis or something, still do your, flexion extension exercises on the arm, but just manage the load better. Like one of my athletes, he had some fucking serious neck pain. And I was like, okay, cool, we're going to change some of the exercises, maybe just do some like more unilateral work. Started the session, he could like barely lift 2.5 kgs above his head. I was like, oh, just start with that, just move. By the end of the session, he's doing fucking 12 kgs above his head. It's like, just move efficiently and move better and be sensible with the fucking loads that you're lifting, and then you'll be okay.
Would you find it very frustrating that people seem to want like a one-size-fits-all approach when it seems like what you're saying is that it depends on how hard you're rolling, how often you're rolling, it depends on your experience in the gym, everything depends, so it's hard for you to be like 3 times a week.
That's the answer. Well, no, I always just say 2 to 3 times a week because that is actually the answer.
That's the answer.
That is the answer. But what you do, it's like it depends. It's like what exercises do you want to do? It depends. Like I've had back surgery. I don't squat with a bar on back. I don't do deadlifts with a bar deadlifts every gym I go to, if it's got a belt squat, I use the belt squat. If it doesn't, I'll just do the leg extension and the hamstring curl. But it fucking depends on your current situation. But you should definitely be lifting as a minimum twice per week if you're a jiu-jitsu athlete or hobbyist. Trust me on that one. Because basically, we all know, like you talk to any high level guy, they're like, I'd rather roll. No one wants to roll with the fucking super jacked blue belt coming in. The super athletic, super strong, super jacked fucking blue belt.
Shout out Kibby.
Because they're fucking, they're like, oh God, this is gonna be so hard because they're just so fucking strong. Yeah. Eventually they'll get tired, but it's hard work to make them fucking tired, right? If you're that person and you can be really fucking strong, like have great fitness and be like reasonably athletic, you're a problem. Straight off the bat, you're a problem to deal with. So why would you not choose to be that person? Why would you choose not to be as strong as possible, as fit as possible, and be able to move your body better through space?
Strength doesn't matter, Charles. It's all technique.
Let's roll the
Gracies now.
Yeah,
the Gracies have told me. Listen, the Gracies told me. It makes complete sense.
It's crazy. It's like some of these, when people come up, like people like, you ask them, what's your strength training look like? They're like, oh, I don't really do too much. I'm like, mate, it will keep you training for longer. Like if you get any niggles or anything, I was talking to Bobby. I was like, he's like, how do you deal with injuries and stuff? I'm like, I just lift and then I sleep well and I eat good and then the niggle will go away. That's it. Like the amount of times I've had, like, I woken up and be like, oh, my fucking neck is really sore. How many jiu-jitsu people have like sore necks? Yeah. I just lift and eat well and sleep and I'm good. The niggle, it will go away. Do you know what I mean? Because you just build a really strong frame, and like the stronger you are, the more resilient you're going to be. You're never going to bulletproof yourself from injury, but if you're really strong, you'll be more resilient to getting injured, and then overcoming an injury, you'll be way more resilient to that. It's easier to overcome, and you just keep training. Like let's say you hurt your knee or something, just work around it. Still train your legs. You can do some ISO holds. You maybe have to like change some things up. Like let's say you've hurt your meniscus or something. Squats are off the table. That's fine. You've still got back extensions. You've still got hamstring exercises. You can still hinge. Make sure you keep. Let's just make sure you keep training. Get the hamstrings really strong. Do some ISO holds for the quads. Eventually, you'll get better, and you start, increasing the range of those squats, and then you'll be okay. Don't just give up. Don't just give up. Restore the range. Restore the range. Get the area stronger. Reintroduce plyometrics, and you'll be good.
Would you say at the moment, basically all athletes at the high level are doing strength and conditioning work, or do you find that? Do you find that any athletes come to you and they're like, I'm actually not lifting at all, then maybe I should start
jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, most high level guys are lifting, and if you just give them a good structure and a plan, they'll be even better, I would say. Yeah, a lot of them don't lift as consistently as they should, but when you get them on a good plan, just twice a week, it's a game changer for them. Everyone notices a difference from lifting properly twice a week. Everyone will.
And speaking of lifting, I wanted to ask you: do you think CrossFit is probably the most dangerous strength and conditioning route you can take?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, I did CrossFit. It just depends on the coach. That's how I fucked my back, and I ended up getting surgery on it from doing CrossFit. But like the coaches I had at the time.
Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I was a retard as well. Like I was 21 or 22, and I just loved lifting. I didn't know too much about as a PT, but I worked in a gym called Vision, which is like basically it's a franchise of gyms, and what they teach you. They don't teach you so much about strength and conditioning, but they teach you a lot about nutrition, and they teach you how to run a business, and they teach you how to talk to people and build really good rapport with people. So it's like basically just mainly just business focused, and they teach you a lot about personal development, but not much about exercise. So I didn't know a whole lot, and it's obviously my fault for not like trying to learn more about strength and conditioning. I was just doing CrossFit, and I was like, I started by doing jiu-jitsu, then I was like, I'm going to do CrossFit to get strong for jiu-jitsu. And then eventually I got hooked on CrossFit, and I stopped doing as much jiu-jitsu, and I just kept trying to lift heavy and just fucking send it every single session. I ended up bulging a disc in my back, and I was like, nah, I'll be fine. Like, if I was sitting down, I couldn't move my leg
further than that position because of all the fucking nerve tension I had.
Hip flexion, where was the restriction?
The disc was bulged in my L4 L5. So as soon as I'd move that leg, all the fucking nerve tension would go down to my leg, into my foot. My foot was basically numb. I could barely walk with that leg. But I'd still go into the gym and fucking send it.
With a bulging disc.
Yeah. 2 weeks before surgery, I squatted like 140 kilos. And I was still cleaning, Olympic lifting, all that kind of shit. And I got a cortisone injection, and I went back to training the next day. And the coach was like, "Yeah, we'll just take it easy. We're gonna do this workout." And it's like 500 wall balls with a 10-kilo ball, which is like the worst thing because your hips, your back, you're just going into deep flexion, pushing back up. So all you're doing is loading the back. But anyway, it got so bad. Saw a surgeon. Obviously, the surgeon wants to operate. Ultimately, if you do have a bulging disc, you don't need to get surgery. Like that foot. I've trained people who don't have any feeling in their foot, and you just load management, do things properly, and they're fine. So anyway, got surgery, and that was like my back will never be the same again because it doesn't sponge. The discs don't sponge as well, but you can still train fucking hard. But again, load management.
Did you replace the disc? Is that what they did?
No, they cut the disc in half. They disectomy. They take a little bit of the disc away that's bulging, and then that's what they do. They disectomy. They take that disc away. So what happens now is because there's a little bit of the disc removed, it doesn't sponge as well as it should. So if you're doing lots of axle loading, like squats, deadlifts, whatever, anything like that's really heavy downward force on the spine,
sure.
The joint can jam. The facet joints can like touch each other and jam, and then that will cause like pain and muscle spasms and stuff.
What was your experience like getting back on the mats after that, coming back from that surgery and that injury?
It took a bit of time. I was just trying to figure out how to train properly for a long time. And I was like, I still love lifting heavy weights, and I'll deadlift and squat or whatever. But whenever I did that, like heavy Bulgarians, walking lunges, heavy sled, because it's that axle loading, my back would always feel fucking sore. Then I'll go to jiu-jitsu and it would just spaz out because there's already so much compression on that area. Because it doesn't compress properly, the joint would get jammed. So I was still trying to go to jiu-jitsu like 5 times a week. I was like, this isn't working for me. I keep getting injured. I keep fucking I'd be stuck in that position. Like the back would be full spasm and it'd be fucked for like 2 weeks. So I was just like, I think it was like 2 years ago, I just decided I'm just going to do jiu-jitsu 3 times a week. I'm going to lift 2 to 3 times a week. I'm not going to do anything that's going to like fuck my axle, anything that's going to be too heavily compressed on my back. And I'm going to see how that goes. And I can train every single, I can train like 7 days a week, jiu-jitsu 3 to 4 times a week, and just be sensible with the rounds and how I'm moving. And it's absolutely fine now. But it took a while to get to find that pattern.
That's wild. Like that's good to hear for other athletes. I think the fact that you've had a back surgery and you can now do jiu-jitsu again, essentially as normal.
As normal, yeah. As a normal hobbyist. Like the thing, there's no one size fits all for lower back pain. But like as soon as I wake up, I do like these back exercises. Like I just do basically just get the core working. So it's like a dead bug, a reverse crunch, a bird dog, and a side plank with rotation. So it's like just getting some nice twisting, some nice engagement through the abs. Because if you shorten the abs, it creates more length in the back. So you get the core fired up, and it allows the back to just relax a little bit more. So if you do have lower back injuries, I say this to all my guys, just have some kind of like routine that you can do in the morning to get the abs engaged, get a bit of rotation into the spine, and that can help just like lengthen up those back muscles and get the abs, shorten the abs.
Was there any consideration to stop doing jiu-jitsu because of the injury? You're like, I'm going to do this regardless. No. I'll find a way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you were lifting 1 day before surgery, so
2
you
days
didn't see like
2
the
days
time.
before surgery.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks or something.
So do you basically look at yourself back then and you're like, what? How was I that stupid? Or do you think like what? Because lots of other athletes are in this position, right, where they're just so focused on exercising, they get an injury and they think, well, I'm not going to stop now, right?
Yeah, just manage your injury well. Like, if you just took a bit more time to be more considerate about the injury, like if you just keep trying to fucking push the hammer and really work through the injury, you're gonna fuck yourself. And I've seen a lot of people who are absolutely fucked. I trained this guy, and his back is fucked, his shoulders are fucked, his knees are fucked. You don't want to be that guy. If you do have a concerning injury, just get it better. Take the time off. Just load management with the jiu-jitsu. Don't train as hard there. Train with people like.
most jiu-jitsu training and talking to the high-level guys, they train. A lot of their training is training with people who are worse than them, and that's how you actually get better. You train with people who are worse than you because you can control the intensity more. It's what Demon would say, like low heart rate round. You can control the intensity more. You can practice the stuff you want to practice, and you're going to get more opportunity to hit it. And then, of course, you need to have rounds where you're training with they're harder, the intensity is higher. But if you go into the session every time and it's a fucking war, like your risk of injury is higher. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to accumulate way more fatigue. So you just need to have a better balance of those things. Especially if you are injured. Like sometimes I go to training, but my neck is absolutely fucked, and I'm going to go. All right, I'm just going to train with some lighter people. I'll still go to training, but I'll just train with people who are lighter.
Do you see this with some of your more high level guys where they might be going to training with some form of injury? And do you see them struggle with having that maturity, for example, to have a lighter role against somebody that's going hard at them, things like this? The
people I work with, no, they're pretty switched on. They're very clued on to those things.
That's really.
They'll still go to training and or they'll just won't go to training. But yeah.
Because it's your profession, right? If you're injured and you're having wars in the gym, that impacts your ability to make money.
Also, these guys are so fucking good, so like most people are just worse than them.
That helps.
So that does help.
What about there's someone listening to this that's been training for 6 months, they're not very good, but they're injured? What advice would you give them for load management when it comes to jiu-jitsu? If they can't roll with beginners because they are a beginner.
Don't spaz. Just work on some different things. Don't be a spaz. And it's rich coming from me. I love a spaz. But just like me and I would talk about this in our podcast. Like you're gonna be fucking shit if you've been doing it for like 6 to 12 months. Just I don't know. Like get put in bad positions and just try and escape from there. Like if I'm feeling absolutely fucked, like if I'm rolling, I'm like, oh man, I know my lower back's really fatigued. I'll pull bottom out. I don't care. I don't mind the bottom out. And I'm just, especially the guys, like most of the guys I train with who are really good, I spend a lot of time with bottom side control. Yeah. But I'm like, all right, just don't get submitted. Just try and fucking chill there. Like, I used to be so claustrophobic in that position as well. Like for me to be in that like flattened out, bottom out, I'd just panic. I'd be freaking out, fucking thrashing, spazzing. Because I found it like claustrophobic. I'd literally freak out. Now I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make a point to myself to spend more time in bottom side control and figure out how to get escape from these pins and not get submitted. And there's value in that. Pin escapes, don't get submitted. As a bare minimum, that should be a learn how to pin people, learn how to pin escape. And if you are battling with an injury, just work on your pin escapes.
That's a great point because you're in quite a static position, right? You're not like doing heavy wrestling rounds. You're not getting stacked on a guard pass. If you're in bottom out, there's not too much that can go wrong from an injury perspective, right?
No, not really. I mean, you could do like fast aggressive turns that maybe I don't know. It depends where the injury is, but I don't know. I just work on pin escapes. I just try and work on something that with your training partner that you can do, and there's value for both of you in it, I would say.
Do you see a very common injury with your athletes, like something that's just sort of reoccurring and we should really consider like, hey, like our knees keep getting injured in XYZ way, let's fix that kind of thing?
Knees, shoulders, like just the usual shit, like hips, knees, shoulders. But again, to beat a dead horse, if you have a good lifting routine, you'll be fine. Like, you'll be okay. Like obviously there's like, you know, if you get some, the jiu-jitsu does have fucking weird injuries like fingers, wrists, or like you go to the end range of something in a submission. Like my elbow got absolutely fucked months before Euros, and I couldn't train properly. I'd go to training and I was like, my arm is fucked. Like it was stuck in that position, and I was like, I need to keep training. Because I've got Euros coming up, so I'd still be lifting weights, but like I've been in the gym literally like curling with like a heavy weight here and like 5 kilos there, and all the boys were like, you look like a cancer patient. Like you can actually see the atrophy in this arm. But I just try and do again, just like load management. Don't go too hard at training. Work on the things that you can work on. Go to the gym. Just try and make your everything as strong as possible, and that's the goal of strength training. Whether you look at like fucking Olympians or the high level rugby players, How are they training in the weight room? Just general physical qualities. You know, have a really good squat, have a really good hinge, be really good at pushing and pulling movements, get good on some single leg exercises, train your arms, and by being fucking way stronger, you're gonna be more like those. You of course you're gonna get little niggles here and there, but when you're in whether you're in jiu-jitsu or in the gym, manage your load effectively and you'll be okay. I think I've said that like 15 times.
Yeah. Manage your load effectively. God damn it,
manage your load effectively. Yeah, that's basically it. Like you should be fucking fine. Like you will get niggles. Just train.
What I'm hearing from this is because if I was injured, part of me would think I should stop lifting weights because I'm injured. But you're saying the opposite. You're saying when you're injured, it's actually kind of the most important, but you have to manage the load.
It is fucking important because if you just stop doing nothing is not the answer. Like even if you've got a fucking broken leg, you should still train your upper body. Why? Because by stimulating muscle and by it causing like fatigue and intensity in the upper body, that's going to help. And even this leg, if I broke this leg, I would still be training this leg 100%. Fucking hard, heavy. People are like, oh, I need to go lighter. No, train that leg fucking heavy. Because what it does is by creating the heavy muscle stimulation and by causing damage to the muscle cells, whatever, when you go to sleep, you're going to have more testosterone, greater growth hormone release, which is going to help you fucking your body heal faster. The more growth hormone you have, the better chance you're going to have to healing from that injury.
I never thought about it like that. That's crazy.
That's how you have to think about it. Yeah. Like, why would you stop fucking lifting? Why would you stop trying to fucking get as much testosterone and as much natural growth hormone production as possible? That's why your sleep is so fucking important. That's why your nutrition is important. That's why lifting is so important. Because you can stimulate growth. You stimulate more testosterone and growth hormone production in your own body. As a natty.
Yeah,
as a natty. If you train fucking hard and you train well and you get really strong, you're gonna have higher test levels, higher growth hormone production, which means you can heal from injuries faster.
You become Wolverine, is what you're telling me. I will not get injured ever again.
Then you get on some trend.
What's the stack? Is that one of the questions we got in? Someone saying, what's the best stack for jiu-jitsu?
Well, I know what the waist to well stack is.
Like waist to wells?
Yeah.
Shout out Flow Grappling.
Waist to well. I think it's test.
Oh, waist to well.
Waist to well, yeah. Test, growth hormone. There's going to be some Anavar in there. And then I believe there's going to be some Winstrol, I think. It's basically test, growth, Anavar. That's what you
go, George.
That's what you
I'm ready.
Get your shopping list out, brother.
Yeah.
Write this down, George.
Yeah. I need to start lifting first. I'm so bad with lifting.
You have to after this conversation, dude.
I'm hearing this. Like in my head, like I look at people out, like not even non-jiu-jitsu athletes, even my friends who don't lift. I'm like, you're pathetic. Like honestly, this is how I think. I'm like, you're fucking pathetic. Like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? But like I'm a fucking nutcase.
Yeah. And they give you money.
And then they give me money. Give me money. Dude, I'll fucking train you. But honestly, like I got my mum into lifting. She lifts 3 times a week. Every fucking person in life should be lifting because it's again what I said before. It's gonna make like especially as a fucking old person. Like get your parents into fucking lifting. It's never too late. Increase your bone density. Decrease muscle atrophy. As soon as you hit like over 35 years old, it's getting harder and harder to fucking gain muscle. And that's the main contributor to like you dying way earlier. Also, look at someone who's like pathetically weak. If you fall over, like how hard it is to get off the floor, or someone who's fat. Like no one's comfortable being fat. You can't be. Like a little bit of excess body weight, fine. But like being a fat cunt, like you look at those people, it just looks seriously uncomfortable. Why would you choose? Why would you not try and be as healthy as possible? Lifting weights will do that. If you play sport, lifting weights will help you play your sport better. Again, I fucking guarantee it. Get back to that analogy I was using earlier. Look at the guy, the fucking super stacked athletic blue belt. Everyone knows he's a fucking nightmare because he's so fucking strong. They're super athletic. They move quickly. They'll get tired eventually because you'll be way better than them. But they're a fucking nightmare. Be that person. Why would you not opt in to be that fucking person?
Yeah, I think we are slowly starting to realize that jiu-jitsu is a sport.
It's a sport. It's not a martial art.
Wait.
That's what I like about your content. It's not a fucking it's a martial art. It's a fucking sport. Like, just don't go into this thing and bow into this person, call him a fucking professor. Like, I come from a sporting background, playing rugby, rowing, basketball, that kind of stuff. That I was fortunate enough to do it at my school. But it's just look at like how professional rugby players train. They do their fucking S&C. Do they want to do their S&C? No, most of those guys fucking hate their S&C, but they fucking do it 2 to 3 times per week, sometimes more, because it helps you get better at your fucking sport. If you do jiu-jitsu, and that's the thing, jiu-jitsu like attracts kind of like this
so IT nerds.
Yeah,
you can call it out, bro.
A lot of these like IT nerds and a lot of these geeks or whatever, or people who are not even to be like mean to them, but like geeks or whatever, people who haven't really done much sport.
Yes.
And so they haven't had an insight to like how people who play sport should train. But jiu-jitsu is a fucking sport. You're doing physical activity. It's a sport that it requires very good kinesthetic awareness, very good balance, high levels of like you need to be strong. You need to be able to move your body well through space. So like lifting weights is going to fucking help you do all that.
Let's say I'm a IT nerd that, I've got a full-time job, 9 to 5, quite busy, family life, etc. I've got 2 nights of the week where I've got 45 minutes to train at home. What can I do? Maybe I've got some dumbbells, but apart from that, I can't get to the gym. What would you sort of recommend? Get
yourself some heavy dumbbells. Get yourself, or at least a heavy kettlebell. Like, you don't have to have the perfect setup. Like, if you, let's say you're going to do it from home, I would always recommend just joining a fucking commercial gym. That's the main one. Join a commercial gym because it's going to be a different environment to you, to your home. But if you don't have that luxury, get some heavy kettlebells. Learn how to do swings properly so you don't fuck your back. Do some heavy goblet squats or front rack squats. Get into some fucking heavy row motion. Basically, look, squat, hinge, push, pull. That's it. If you have 45 minutes, that would be it. And do some deep tip pliers.
And what are your thoughts on stretching?
Fine. If you feel like you want to stretch. That's it.
You don't think it's super sort of important after a jiu-jitsu session, or what are your thoughts?
No. If you like stretching, go for it. I used to stretch 2 times a week, 45-minute sessions. I was following the gymnastics body stretch routine. It's pretty fucking good. Gets you very flexible. Which being very flexible is certainly helpful for jiu-jitsu. It is pretty good. But to get like super flexy, it does take a lot of time unless you're like naturally that way inclined. But just again, lifting weights into deeper ranges of motion, like getting a really good squat, being able to squat a heavy weight with a bar in front of you or behind or on your back into a low squat position where your hips are below your knees. But if you're like super strong in that position, that's deep hip flexion. Then you can do like an elevated split squat. Again, you're getting a deep hip flexion, getting good at Cossacks. That's going to help strengthen out the adductors and hamstrings. Getting a good hinge, that's going to strengthen the hamstrings and help your hamstrings get into deeper ranges. And that's a big thing. Having flexible hamstrings, that's going to help your inverting and the strength in your inverting position, back healing and squeezing things. Everyone talks about when they roll with Craig Jones how fucking freakishly strong his hamstrings are. Having good hammies is your ability to fucking pull people in and squeeze people. If you get into a body lock, if someone gets you into a body lock, you can finish people with a fucking good body lock if you're on their back. Just by having an excellent squeeze. Obviously, it's knowing how to apply the body lock well, but if your legs are really strong, they're fucking toast, mate. Lucas Kennard, he tapped me with the body lock very quickly.
Wow. Shout out Lucas Kennard.
Yeah.
We're talking before about athletes, but I think this is even more relevant for the hobbyists. But one of the main issues people seem to have when it comes to lifting is consistency and accountability.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips when it comes to, say someone's found a good program, maybe yours. Shout out Matt Strong, best program.
Just buy all my stuff.
Just buy your stuff, dude. Just buy it. But what can they do to make sure they're accountable and consistent? Is it the Jocko Willink, like just fucking do it, discipline? Or is there a bit of a system? Should you train with a friend or a partner?
Yeah, I mean, if that works for you, yeah, that's great, training with the boys. But you're not always going to have that luxury. And then it's like, okay, you've got to time it efficiently, all that kind of stuff. So if you add another person to the mix, for sure, I really like that. But that can also cause complications sometimes because you're relying on that other person
Just do twice a week as the bare minimum. That's your thing. That's your thing, twice a week. And I did this session with Bobby yesterday, and Bobby doesn't lift. And I was like, mate, you are so pathetically weak, Bobby. Like, and he doesn't feel that weak, but I was like, dude, look at your legs. Like, you need to get stronger. You'll be even better if you're stronger. And I love Bobby.
He's about 6'2". Just as you put up, Jamie, run up clip of Bobby. He's about 6'2", and 65 kilograms soaking wet.
He's 74 kgs, but he's got such long legs and they're skinny. And I was like, dude, you could be fucking strong, Bobby, because like he's got good work ethic.
Sure.
But like we went to a gym and we only had 45 minutes, and I didn't realize that because the gym fucking closed early because it was Saturday. And they're like, oh, the gym will be closing in 30 minutes just after we finished our warm-up. I was like, oh, fuck. So we just went upstairs, we smashed some heavy squats, smashed some dumbbell bench, and smashed some rows. That was it, done. 30 minutes, just trained fucking hard, no rest, back to back to back. And then Bobby was like, wow, like, I didn't even have time to think about how much I don't like doing this. I was like, well, there you go, that's great. If you just do that twice a week, you'd be way stronger than you currently are now. That is better than nothing.
Will he do this twice a week?
Yeah, he should. Yeah,
sure. But will he do it though? If he's by himself, is it Wednesday? Bobby, it's time to lift.
Yeah. Is
there anything he can do? Put it in his calendar. Make a bet with his mates that if he doesn't go to the gym, he owes him $50.
That's good. I like the rock calendar. Just to like how I do it with my fellas is it's Tuesdays 2:30, Tuesdays and Thursdays 2:30. Rain, hail or shine. That's it. That's locked in. So just lock in the days if you have the luxury to do that. Like if you're a hobbyist, I think your question was for a hobbyist, 9 to 5,
really.
9 to 5. Like, lock in the time and be like, on this day, this time, I just lift weights. That's it. Rain, hail, or shine. Hungover, tired, whatever. Go in, get the session done, and you can just adapt the session to how you feel.
That's great advice.
That's a good topic. Are there any other low-hanging fruit to make sure we're essentially recovering as well as possible? You mentioned the basics of sleep, eating well, things like this. Anything else?
Just do that.
I shouldn't be on reels at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Just do that. Go to bed earlier. Go to bed at I don't know. If you got kids, obviously it's a different scenario, and you'll have broken sleep. But for those who don't have kids, just sleep well. Like honestly, if you can get a quality 7 to 9 hours of sleep, that's fucking amazing. Eat like a sensible adult. Like don't get into fasting or any of that kind of bullshit unless you really like to eat that way. But because here's a simple tip for everyone: protein is not stored in the body, right? We can store carbohydrates and we can store fats. We can't store protein, and that's why we need to eat protein consistently throughout the day. If you can have protein feedings between 3 to 5 times per day, so every 3 to 4 hours, that is the best way to spike muscle protein synthesis, which is going to help you recover better and have the ability to maintain and build muscle. So that's what you should be doing every single day. I would say, like, as a gold standard, 3 to 4 times per day, try and eat 30 to 50 grams of protein.
Wow. And someone like a Bobby Sandu that say he wanted to go up a weight class and he's struggling to get that caloric surplus and eat enough food, do you have any tips to smashing more calories down?
Just calorie dense meals. So like cereal's really good. Don't be afraid to get some pizza in. Don't be afraid to eat a little bit of ice cream like after a meal or something. You just like peanut butter is great if you can eat bread, like bread and peanut butter. That's an easy one. So like hit your protein targets. Eat plenty of fiber. So everyone should be aiming for at least 30 to 40 grams of fiber per day because that's going to help your gut. And just build your calories around them.
Would you have either hobbyists or professional athletes recommend that they all track macros, or it's not that important?
Not macros, calories. Just do calories. So like you should be eating 2 grams per kilogram of of your body weight in protein per day, minimum standard, absolute minimum. And then, 1.6 is the minimum. 1.6 grams per times your body weight is the minimum standard. And then just eat, like track your calories. A simple way to do it is just, you can go anywhere, just be like, you can go anywhere online and be like, what is my baseline metabolic rate for calories? Just do that and track it for a little bit until you get a good idea of it. And then you can, don't worry about it. But like, if you don't know how many calories are in food, etc., just track. Why would you not do that? Go download MyFitnessPal. It's a fucking free app and figure out, okay, if I can eat this for 2 weeks, I'll maintain weight. And then if I want to gain weight, I can add 500 calories or minus 500 calories. Minus 500, I'll lose weight. Plus 500, I'll gain weight. Do that for a while. If you stop losing weight or you stop gaining weight, then you just go another plus 500 or minus 500 and you'll be good.
Very easy. I think that's about it from mine.
Just one more. Are there any supplements that you recommend for jiu-jitsu, or it doesn't really matter?
Creatine, fish oils. I take zinc. I think zinc is excellent, and that's it. If you live in the UK or you live in a European country, or even America, and the winters are really shit, vitamin D. You need to be taking vitamin D.
Can you give us a quick rundown of what are the benefits of those three main?
Creatine's basically just going to help you get stronger and help you have better endurance for short bouts of like explosiveness. But also creatine's really good for your reaction timing, memory. So it's been shown to have very good cognitive benefits. Fish oil is just excellent for cognitive benefits. I think it's in high dosages, it may be good for your joints, but there's lots of studies talking about like cardiovascular fitness that fish oils are very beneficial. So that should be an absolute no-brainer for people. And then zinc is just great for your immune system, bones, and overall health. And vitamin D, again, if you don't get much sun, vitamin D3 is very good cognitively for your muscles and for your bones and skin, eyes and nails, etc.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Where can people find you on socials? Charles Allan Price.
Charles Allan Price. Podcast, Charles Allan Experience.
Matt Strong program.
Buy my shit. Just go to my link in bio and just.
We'll put it up in the show notes.
I actually do a free program, so I haven't put it on my link tree, but occasionally I put it up on my story. But if you listen to my podcast, you'll see that the free 7-day Matt Strong program. So free.
We'll put that up soon.
Yeah.
Lift weights.
Lift weights. Great podcast, man.
Peace.
Great.